Well, good morning, folks. Well, it's morning here in beautiful South Carolina at the state line,
Foggy Ridge.
Foggy Ridge. This is Shane. My name's Rodney, and we'd like to welcome you to our channel, Fat Off the Bone. Shane, what we gonna cook today?
Man, I don't know. I love ribs and baby back or spare ribs or whatever. So I like to cook some spare ribs and show people there's so many different methods of doing it. We cook Boston butts and tell people if you've never cooked anything like that, butts are the place to start because they're so hard to screw up.
Right.
Ribs a little bit more difficult, but still not hard. You got to work to mess them up, to be honest with you. But there's a little method they call 3-2-1 that people have been using forever. Some folks on baby back ribs will do 2-2-1, and I know y'all don't know what that means yet, but we'll tell you as we go. But that's the method I'm gonna use today: 3-2-1, and do it on the Pellet Pro. And altogether, it's gonna take 6 hours. And I know you're familiar with that method. Other people that
Right.
cook them know what it is, but it's kind of a foolproof method to cook.
And you could do this method on charcoal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also,
yeah, for sure.
With the rise in popularity of pellet grills, and there's a whole debate. I follow a lot of blogs and Facebook pages, and there's two camps: the pellet cooking people, and then the ones that call it easy bake ovens. And there's a lot of good ribbing. There's one site I follow. It's about 20% cooking and 80%
Trash talking.
trash talking.
Listen, I'm on a debate like that. I can do both, and I enjoy doing both. But with especially people out there that work and got youngins, sometimes being able to throw something on there and walk away is really convenient. And I'm glad a lot of people are getting. I love my pellet grill, and a lot of people are buying them now, and they're getting more and more popular. But you can do it on a Weber, you can do it on a PK grill, you can do it on a gas grill if that's what you have. Just always be careful using gas. But today we're going to do it on a pellet grill. And now we will do ribs again because there's so many different ways to do it. When you do ribs, just before we get started, when you do ribs on a charcoal grill, now I don't have one of those ceramic grills, so I've always done them on a Weber, and I got the Weber with that hinge cooking grate. So if I do 3-2-1 on a Weber, I'll have enough charcoal to go to 3. But then when I start the 2 hour, I put a few more coals, and then again at the 1 hour, you will have to add a little. On one of those ceramic grills, will one pot of charcoal do the whole 6 hour cook?
It will.
See, that's cool.
It's so efficient that and you do the adjusting with your vents, and you can get. I've got 12 hours out of my
That's
egg
awesome.
before.
That's really. Now I don't have one of those style grills, but if you're a charcoal purist and you like to do long cooks, that really would be something worth looking at.
Yeah, it's great. And like I say, we're going to do a couple racks of, I think we have spare ribs.
Yes,
We're
spare
going to
ribs.
cook today, and we will meet you guys in the cook shack and get started with this thing. Whenever you want to start.
Hey folks, welcome back. It's Fat Off the Bone, and we talked about ribs, and that's what we were going to cook today. So we've got some really nice spare ribs here. You can use baby back ribs. There's a membrane on the bottom of these ribs, and a lot of people will cut that membrane off. If you do it, it's fine, but we're not competition cooking, so I'm going to just score the membrane, and you'll never know it when you get ready to eat the ribs. If anything, you just peel it off when you eat them. So trim off the fat on the bottom if there's a lot of it. There's always an end piece and a top piece on a rack of spare ribs. Don't throw that away. Cut it off and throw it on the grill and nibble on it while everything else is cooking. And I'm going to do one rack with my barbecue rub that I use all the time. And I'm going to do another rack with this Louisiana Savory Smokehouse rub. Now you can get this at Whitley Power Equipment or anywhere that sells Louisiana stuff. This is a really, really good rub. He gave me a jar of it to try, and I was impressed. I put it on vegetables, I put it on burgers, just anything. Now, I think most of the seasoning is going to fall off the bottom anyway, so I'm going to do the bottom first and then turn it right side up and do the top, because that's where your rub is going to stay. This on the bottom is going to, or at least normally will come off, so we'll just do that first. Like I said, score these between the ribs on the bottom. All you gotta do. Alright, so this is my barbecue rub. There's a video up that gives the recipe for this rub. So you're welcome to go look at the video. It's an all-purpose. You can use it on anything you want to rub. I really like it. I've been using it for a long, long time. So just give a little on the bottom there. The lion's share, of course, is going to go on the top because that's where the rub's going to be. And just coat it. I mean, A lot of people just don't use enough, and people say, well, you know, you don't want it to just taste like rub. You want it to taste like ribs and rub. That's what it's supposed to taste like. Just give it a good coating. That's going to make a really good bark. Like I said, if you want the recipe for this rub, it's on. There's already a video that gives you the recipe. You're welcome to go get it. So there's one rack with my rub, and then we're going to do a rack with this Louisiana. And the reason we're doing this is because me and Rodney going to try it and see how we like it. I haven't tried this rub yet on ribs, but it's been good on everything else. So got a little shake on the bottom, flip it, same deal with this, coat it good. People use a lot of rub, yep. Rubbed in there good, and you know, you want it to stick. That's the whole, people say, well, it's clumping up. That's okay. It's sticking to the meat. That's what you want. You don't want it to come off. Because I don't flip spare ribs at all when we're cooking them. Put them on, and that's on charcoal or a pellet grill. But for this, 225 degrees is what you want to cook at. And now we're going to cook these using the 3-2-1 method, which we talked about earlier. And here's what that means. You're going to go 3 hours just like this. And then at the end of that 3 hours, you're going to wrap them. Tin foil, butcher paper, whichever you want to use. And you're going to put them back on for 2 hours, wrapped. At the end of 2 hours, you'll take them off, you'll unwrap them. That's when you'll use your sauce, your barbecue sauce, and they'll go 1 more hour with the sauce, and then they'll be ready to eat. You grill at 225. If you're using a charcoal grill, and a lot of people use charcoal, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a little bit of temperature fluctuation, and Rodney, that's perfectly fine. If you know, people who cook on charcoal, you are going to have some temperature fluctuation, and it ain't going to hurt a thing when you do it. So that's my rub at the back. That's the Louisiana Smokehouse rub at the front. You put them on just like that. Remember what time you put them on, and you're going to go 3 hours before you have to take them off. And like I said, at the end of this, we'll take them off, we'll wrap them. They'll go 2 hours that way, still no sauce. Then the final hour, you unwrap them, you sauce them, and they'll be ready. 3, 2, 1. Thank y'all for watching. Fat Off the Bone. We'll check on them at the 3 hour mark. Fat Off the Bone, we're doing our 3, 2, 1 rib method, and I made a mistake when we started. I told you something that wasn't right. I realize I did now. The 3 hours on the grill here with the dry rub is correct. When you go to the foil for 2 hours, that is when you sauce. And I think I said don't sauce until you, and that was a mistake on my part. You actually sauce right now before you go back on the grill. This is homemade barbecue sauce, and I'm going to give you the recipe to this homemade barbecue sauce at the end of this video. So y'all be sure to.
Well, now that's a good recycling of a bottle, sauce bottle there.
A buddy of mine, he ain't really worth a hoot, but a buddy of mine told me about saving these bottles and using them. Actually, Rodney told me so. But it does make a really good barbecue sauce bottle, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, you're going to sauce them right there, wrap them up, they'll go back on the grill for 2 hours, and then after 2 hours, you'll take them out of the foil, go 1 more hour, a little more sauce. And I apologize about that mess up the first time. Wasn't thinking when I said it, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, we got out here and got working. Rodney said, you told him wrong on the ribs. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me? He said, ain't my ribs. So yeah, double wrap, right back on the smoker. Like this. Still 225 degrees. Gonna go 2 hours, and then at the end of that, we'll take them out of the foil, we'll sauce them again, let them go 1 more hour out of the foil, and they'll be ready. Thank you. We'll come back at the 2 hours after this mark and show you the final stage of it, and then we'll eat. Welcome back to Fat Off the Bone. So 3 hours with our ribs here, nothing but dry rub. Then we sauced them and wrapped them, and it's been 2 hours since then. This is the 3, 2, 1 method. So what we're gonna do now, I'm going to take these bad boys off the grill, just like that, and they're going to get 1 more hour out of the foil, and then they will be done. So we're 5 hours into a 6-hour cook, and if you look, you start to see these bones pulling away from the meat, just like they're supposed to. That's the way it's supposed to look. You could give it a little more sauce if you want to. I'm going to take these gloves off and do that. Put the glove back on. So, I'm going to say unwrapped. It ain't going to hurt a thing to leave the foil. You just don't want it wrapped up. Put it right back on, just like that, for 1 more hour. When we come back, we'll show you the finished product here. So 3, that's the end of the 2. 1 more hour, and they'll be done with these 3-2-1 ribs. Y'all stick around. Hey folks, welcome back to Fat Off the Bone, and this is the end of our 3-2-1 cook on the ribs. So 3 hours with a dry rub right on the rack, 2 hours in foil with the sauce, and then 1 more hour just on the rack. And you can tell they're done because of the way the ribs are pulling off there. I need to get something to grab this with. Let's see. Do this right here. No further than I got to go with it. Right over there. And that's why they call them 3-2-1 ribs, because, you know, like I said, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. All good stuff. My knife ain't as good as Rodney's, though. They are coming apart. Come right out. It's all meat. Ready to eat. And there you go. That's a method you can do ribs. Again, it's called 3-2-1. We appreciate y'all watching Fat Off the Bone. Y'all enjoy it. Thank you for subscribing.